terms of training, actually, I mean, with everybody working remotely, and I think most people say they haven't ever worked as hard as they are at the moment, but do you think it's a good time for companies actually to ensure that at some stage during their working weeks, they are providing training, and particularly on things like the threat of false invoices or phishing and so on, and that this is something that should now become part of what people are doing now that people have settled down into the new rhythm of working from home, that maybe training is one of the things, whether it's on issues management, sort of cyber attacks, whatever, that should become part of the routine?
Yeah, I think it's a really good idea, because I think, you know, we can regard training sometimes as a cost, and I always regard it as an investment. It's done well, and if it's done tightly and it's towards your mission, then I think, you know, training is always an investment. I think what can happen sometimes is that we have a crisis, we put the training in, and then we don't do it again. Yeah, we had in the police, we had firearms officers. They wouldn't discharge their weapons that often. I mean, in London, I think we attended about 7,000 incidents a year. Probably discharged a weapon less than 10 times. Probably hit another person less than 5. And probably a couple died. But it may be that any one of those, I think we had about, I think by the time I left, we had about 2,500 firearms officers. You can work out that with those numbers, many of the firearms officers never fire a shot in anger. But when the first time they have to consider it, they better be well trained and well prepared and well equipped. So, you know, I think it was every 10 or 12 weeks, they would go to train at the ranges or do all the other things that we did with them. We had a judgment range, which was a virtual video opportunity to check your judgment. But that was always for us an investment, and it meant that the firearms unit was probably about 15% larger than it needed to be. Well, it needed to be that big because we wanted to make sure they got the training, because you still had to do the job when they were down in Kent getting their training. So I think, you know, to regard it as an investment and to take this opportunity to make the most of it could be really good, because if it seems to me, if your business relies on customer satisfaction, is it about customer care? If it is about, you know, how you build accounts, and what is it that you really want to see people doing, and is this a great time to do it? And if they can't be meeting their customers, you know, what other opportunities are there? You know, can they get online with them? Can they provide a social but non-meeting way of making the sociality of customer contact without necessarily the invoicing that might always go with it, I guess. Yeah.
And in terms of critical infrastructure, just a quick question on that from one of the people. Critical infrastructure, and how that's being protected, not just from possible terror attacks, but generally speaking, sort of theft of critical items and so on. What was your sort of thoughts on that in the current climate?
Well, I think the government's obviously got a massive task, which is to keep the critical national infrastructure working. And the major threat at the moment is whether or not there's enough people to staff it. Yeah, they've got the right skills available. So I think with the last few days, we've seen speculation about the electricity generating capacity. I think the last couple of days as well, we've seen concerns about whether or not the petrol stations will keep going, because they're the concern. More if the profits are low, because the price is low. You know, oil's gone down to about $20, so the profit is down, and there is less usage of petrol and less demand. And these are vital things for us to keep going. So I think what the government needs to obviously know, and it would apply to, is what are the critical skills in our company? How many have we got? Can we start training people up now to substitute them if any of them become sick? Can we ask any of them to work longer? What can we do to keep that critical bit, you know, really healthy? I mean, we've seen it in the health service, and the police are thinking about it too, which are getting retired people back. You know, you've got a wealth of talent out there who may have only left you 2 weeks ago. Well, it may say, well, I don't want to come back, but, you know, I mean, you know how I feel. I mean, I feel incredibly frustrated as somebody who's been at the heart of these things in the past. I'm not now. Yeah, that might be exactly the right thing. So thank God for that. But you do see an incredible sense of, yeah, well, perhaps you could contribute in some way. So if I feel like that, perhaps other people do too. And they may want to work for your business you know, I say fairly recently, most people feel a great sense of loyalty and pride in the place they've worked. And even the gesture of asking, I think, can reignite that pride. And I think it's worth talking to them and seeing would they be interested. They might need a little bit of training, might need a little bit of preparation. But you know, if all you needed was 100 people to keep your business going, then why not have a list of 200 and see what you can do? And if they say, well, I could, but I can't, yeah, I've got this problem, so we'll sort that.
Yeah.
That cost me £100, but I get you back.
I think one of the good things about petrol stations, just a thought there, is that with a lot of them having the sort of roadside retail side attached to them, maybe that'll mean that it'll be encourage them to stay open because of.
I think you're right. No, I'm sure you're right, because I think it's generally the ones that aren't relying on that are only relying on fuel, where the challenge is really, I think, quite a challenge at the moment.